Hello and welcome to Business Management 325 International Management. I'll be your professor in the class. My name is Jack Marr, and I'm excited to teach this class for the third time, and I wrote it as well. As international business and international management has been called the liberal arts of business in the sense that it brings in not just business, but also history, politics, culture, languages, and many of the dynamics that you see going on in the world today. It's also an exciting class in that each semester it's absolutely different, sort of the hot topics that we're talking about. Obviously, this semester, the COVID 19 has become a global concern, which began as a Chinese health concern and is now expanded into what's probably going to be a massively significant global economic phenomenon. So, a little bit about me first. I have a background in English literature and philosophy, and a master's degree from that's from the University of Illinois, and a master's degree from the University of Chicago in the political economy of U.S. Chinese Japanese relationship, and a PhD from here at Boise State in public administration and economics, where I look at high value global clusters of cities and economies and how and why they form. I began my experience abroad back in 1990 when I went to the University of Dundee in Dundee, Scotland to study abroad, and I sort of got hooked. I spent many, many years in China before I was an academic. I've worked with the U.S. Agricultural Trade Office, representing the United States for research on East and North China markets, and working very closely with CEOs both in and out of agribusiness as well as with the White House and senators and representatives and governors and other leaders who are involved in global business. I've also worked in venture capital at one of China's first venture capital funds with money raised on Wall Street. I've also worked for McKinsey as a management consultant, again in the Greater China area, and represented the state of Missouri for business development in Japan and China. And then with my academic career, I helped to found and launch New York University's business school in Shanghai, which is now grown into having its own subway stop for the whole university, at also at City University in Hong Kong, and then for the past 5 years here at Boise State as a clinical associate professor of international business and director of the college's global program. So I'm very happy to be meeting with you guys, even though it's only virtually. I've had good experience with this class in the past. So that's a little bit about me. And I love outdoor sports and being in Idaho, skiing, climbing, biking, all that, and have two little kids as well. So that's a little bit about me. About the class, I think there's sort of three main streams in it. We have the very structured aspects of international business, which are around theory and some best practices and some of the things that we're going to look at through the course. We're going to start with sort of asking the question, what is globalization and what are the political economic dynamics that underlie it? Then we're going to start talking about strategy for business, because strategy changes very much when you start looking at global businesses, and all businesses from small to large are affected by what's happening globally. And I think the COVID 19 is a really good example of this. We'll look at trade, both sort of in the theoretical sense as well as in how politicians and governments get involved to sort of distort trade and try to make it work in their favor. Then we'll talk about investment and capital flows and supply chains, which are very global in every sense. And then we will look at culture and ethics, which is one of the key underlying areas which can make doing business abroad a bit different than doing it at home. Then we'll talk about capital flows. And finally, we're going to talk about the world as a global learning organization and how marketing and research and development can be global phenomenons, and how different parts of the world can learn from each other. So that's sort of the course. In the structured part, we also have a large part of your grade is for current events. And I encourage all of you to take a look at the syllabus to get more details sort of on what's expected. Current events are going to be worth 25% of your grade, and you'll be posting current events every week. And this is a really good chance for you to explore some topics which are interesting to you and which are relevant at the moment. And I think this is we'll see. I'm in the middle of teaching another introduction to international business course right now, and the coronavirus had not even been a thing when we started back in January. So things change very quickly. And then finally, you'll have a group project, which is going to be worth 35% of your grade that you'll work on in groups. And we'll be getting you into groups in the next few weeks. And that's a chance for you to explore a topic that's of interest to you as a group. And essentially, you'll be asked to find a problem in global business for an organization and use a lot of facts and research to solve it. And I think this is a really good way to think about how you would actually apply these skills in the real world. So for logistics, we have two excellent teaching assistants in this class, Mr. Jack Briggs and Ms. Shannon Nielsen, who will be introducing themselves in subsequent videos. And I've had both of them as students for several years, and we've all traveled to Taiwan and elsewhere together. So I think they have a lot of experience and can be very helpful in the class. So essentially, any questions you have about your grade book and grading matters, about where to find things, about any IT matters you have, I would ask you to go first to them, and their emails are on the syllabus, and they'll be, as I said, introducing themselves quickly. And then any questions you have that are content related, questions about why or how you should structure things, please address to me, and I'll be happy to answer those. And I think that way, as we have a very large class, that way things will flow very smoothly as they have in the past. So next, I'm really looking forward to getting to know all of you. So one of your first assignments is to do a post about sort of what global experiences that you have had and how you've learned from them. And that's a good, I think, ice-breaking exercise. So I look forward to hearing some of your stories. So we'll be in touch, and I look forward to starting the class. Thank you very much.